My family ditched my 17-year-old daughter's 3-day feast for her grandma's birthday, went to a restaurant without us, and then charged my card $1,327.00 for their meal. I was ready to lose it, but what I did next turned their betrayal into her triumph. Let me take you back to a day that started with hope and ended in heartbreak. My daughter, Ava, is 17, and while most teens are glued to their phones or figuring out who they are, she already knows she wants to be a chef. Not the cute kind who bakes cupcakes on Instagram, but the kind who commands a kitchen and makes flavors tell stories. She's serious. For weeks, she planned the biggest meal of her life, a birthday dinner for her grandma's 67th, right here at our house. 23 people, starters, mains, desserts, a 3-day prep schedule. She had color-coded lists taped to the fridge and spent her allowance on herbs and cheeses I can't even pronounce. This wasn't just about food, it was her heart on every plate. Ava isn't like other kids. She reads cookbooks for fun, watches Gordon Ramsay more than Netflix, and once spent 5 hours perfecting a sauce only to cry because it tasted flat. I'm her mom, Jenna, and I've stood by her dream even when others didn't. My family doesn't really get it. They smile and nod, call her our little chef, and make jokes about her opening a food truck someday like it's all a phase. But Ava, she's not playing pretend. She's putting in the work. This dinner was her shot at proving she belonged in a kitchen, even if it was just our small one. She woke up at 6 a.m. every day for 3 days leading up to it. She roasted chickens, prepped potatoes 3 ways, rolled handmade pasta, and even made a lemon tart so delicate I was afraid to breathe near it. And the thing is, she wasn't just trying to impress my mom. She wanted to be seen. Not as the quirky girl who cooks too much, but as someone worth showing up for. That's what makes what happened next so hard to forgive. The morning of the party, Ava was up at 5 a.m. I heard her alarm go off, followed by the sound of pans clattering and soft classical music drifting from the kitchen. It was the final day of prep after 3 days of non-stop work, baking, frosting, chopping, marinating. She even remade an entire tray of potatoes the day before because she thought they were too salty for Grandma's palate. The kitchen smelled incredible, like butter, thyme, roasted garlic, and something sweet I couldn't place. Honestly, it smelled like one of those restaurants you walk past downtown and think, one day. She set the dining table with her whole heart, 23 place settings, each with a handwritten name card, fresh flowers from the corner store, folded cloth napkins, and even printed menus she designed herself. She wore a spotless apron, curled her hair, and looked more alive than I'd seen her in months. Tired, yes, but glowing. Ava wasn't just ready to serve a meal, she was ready to be seen. She'd thought of everyone. Sugar-free tarts for Grandma's diabetic neighbor, a no-mushroom side dish for my dad, and a cilantro-free salad because my mom insists cilantro tastes like soap. She'd used her own money, weeks of babysitting, to buy special cheeses and imported olives. She borrowed a cake turntable from her friend to get the frosting smooth, and steam-cleaned the kitchen floor because, in her words, the tile was giving health inspector. At one point she asked me, "Mom, is the lighting too warm? I want cozy, not cafeteria." Her cake, a 3-layer masterpiece with chocolate curls spelling Happy 67th Grandma, was so beautiful it looked fake. Then, 10 minutes before guests were supposed to arrive, my phone buzzed. A text popped up in the family group chat. It was from my dad. "We've decided to celebrate at a restaurant, adults only. No apology, no heads up. Just that." I froze. I thought it was a joke. Ava was in the kitchen humming while pulling her pear tarts from the oven. My hands were shaking as I stepped into the hallway to call my dad. "Hey, you get the message?" he asked, like it was no big deal. "You're not coming?" I asked, my voice thin. "Nah, we changed plans," he said. "Easier this way, we're already at the restaurant, just sat down. Menu looks great." I blinked. Ava's been cooking for 3 days. She made enough food for 23 people. She's been up since 5. "You said you'd come here." There was a pause, then, "Oh well, tell her not to take it personally, she can freeze the leftovers, right? Gotta go, the waiter's here." He hung up. I stood there in shock. I called my mom next. "Did you really just not come?" She sighed. "Honey, don't start, it's more convenient this way, and to be honest, we didn't want anyone getting sick." "She's 17, Jenna." "It's sweet, but it's not safe to let a kid cook for that many people." "She's not a kid," I snapped. "She's taken food safety classes, sanitized everything, and made custom dishes for everyone." My mom cut me off. "That's nice, but it's not real cooking. Not like a restaurant." I hung up before I said something I couldn't take back. I tried my sister, hoping she'd been left out of the decision. She wasn't. "Oh, Jenna, don't guilt us," she said flatly. "Ava's being dramatic. She's 17, she needs to learn the world isn't about her." None of us wanted to be her test subjects. Test subjects. Like, Ava was experimenting on them, not giving them the best of herself. My jaw clenched. I hung up mid-sentence. When I went back to the kitchen, Ava was talking to herself about the pomegranate glaze when she looked up and saw my face. "What's wrong?" she asked. I didn't answer. She walked over, took my phone and opened the group chat. She saw the message and then the photo, my family at a restaurant. Plates full, wine glasses raised. My mom was laughing, my dad mid-tote, my sister's kids smiling like this was the best day ever. Ava stared, silent. Then she called my mom. I don't know what was said, she barely spoke, just nodded once, then stopped. Her face fell, her eyes welled up, but she didn't sob. She just slowly put the phone down, looked at her perfect cake and stood there. Her shoulders fell like the air had been sucked from her lungs. I stepped toward her. "Ava!" She took one step back. No words, just tears, quiet, ashamed, angry, the kind that come from deep disappointment, the kind you can't fix with a hug or an "it's okay," because it wasn't. That moment, seeing Ava trying not to cry just to spare me the pain, flipped something inside me. I wasn't going to let my family take this from her, not again. This wasn't new. They'd done it to me my whole life. I was the unplanned second daughter, never quite enough next to my golden older sister. She got ballet recitals and birthday parties with themes. I got grounded for taking apart the toaster. My parents paid for her dance costumes and SAT tutors but said my interest in leatherworking was a phase and refused to pay for a class I begged for. I built a life anyway. My husband and I run a small business making custom home goods. We pay our bills, raised Ava right, and built something real. But my parents call it a side hobby, while acting like my sister's unused psychology degree makes her a genius. Over the years, I've paid for their birthdays, covered their surprise water heater bill, even paid off my sister's rent more than once, always quietly. I do it because I'm the responsible one, the one who cleans up the messes, the one they think owes them. They treat my money like a favor they deserve, and my opinions like they're optional reading. Ava's like me, but stronger, bolder. She's unapologetic about her love for cooking. She talks about mise en place like it's a way of life. She studies restaurant reviews like other girls read gossip blogs. But my family doesn't see her fire. They try to smother it with sarcasm. It's sweet that she likes to cook, they say. She'll grow out of it. I once found her crying in the bathroom after a brunch. She said it was the onions. It wasn't. So when she came to me and said, "Mom, I want to cook Grandma's birthday dinner all by myself," I was proud, but I was scared too. I knew they could crush her. I asked, "Are you sure?" 3 times. And 3 times she nodded. I want to show them what I can do. And she did. She built the menu from scratch, tested recipes, adjusted everything to fit each person's weird food quirk. Every night she showed me her to-do list like it was a secret mission. "Do you think they'll like it?" she'd ask, eyes wide. I always said yes, even when my heart worried they wouldn't deserve it, and then they ghosted her. But it got worse. That night, as I tried to clean up, my phone buzzed. A $1,327.90 charge on my business credit card, the same one I use for family emergencies and shared expenses. The charge was from the restaurant they went to. They didn't just bail on Ava, they made me pay for their betrayal. I laughed out loud, then sat on the floor and felt this rage so pure and hot, it was like a lightning bolt through my chest. Ava stood next to her cake, her fists clenched. "We should throw it out," she said. "They don't deserve it." I snapped, "No. If they won't eat it, someone will." I didn't know who, but I wasn't going to let them erase her effort like it meant nothing. I grabbed my phone and called my husband. "Come home, now." He didn't ask why. He just said, "Give me 20 minutes. Then I started texting everyone, neighbors, friends, my cousin Sam who always called out my parents' nonsense, even my dentist's receptionist. I didn't send invites, I sent a declaration. Ava cooked for 23 people. They bailed. We need mouths and hearts. Show up hungry. I didn't even finish sending them before someone knocked on the door. It was Mr. Patel from next door, with a bottle of wine and his whole family. Then came a woman from an old book club I'd forgotten about, holding a casserole dish and tulips. People just came. Like the universe was trying to make things right. Cars lined the street. Ava panicked. "Mom, what are you doing?" she whispered. I looked her dead in the eye and said, "Saving your dignity and your dessert." Now go get more chairs." She stood still for a moment, then nodded. We started pushing tables together, clearing off the serving platters, and laying out every dish she'd made like it was the best buffet on earth. And honestly, it was. Then, it got even crazier. Someone invited a friend who worked for a small local food magazine. A journalist showed up, camera bag in one hand, notebook in the other. "I heard there's a teenage chef who got ditched by her family," she said. "Can I try a few things?" Ava froze like a deer in headlights. I put a hand on her shoulder. "Let her. This is your moment." The journalist tasted the risotto, blinked, and said, "Whoa." Then she tried the lemon tart. Then the handmade pasta. She pulled out her phone and took pictures, asking questions like, "What inspired this glaze?" Ava answered, shy at first, but then her voice picked up. Confidence returned to her posture. The journalist leaned in, to me, and said quietly, "She's better than some of the pros I've reviewed." I smiled. "Then tell her that." By 7 p.m., all 23 seats were full. Not with the people Ava had planned for, but with neighbors, old friends, even a few kind strangers, who heard what happened and showed up with open hearts and empty plates. The energy in our home had shifted. It was no longer about being abandoned, it was about being seen. Ava peeked out from the kitchen, nervously holding a tray of appetizers. "Should I start?" she whispered. I smiled. "Serve your menu." "You earned this." She stepped out with shaking hands and offered her first dish. For a moment, it was completely quiet. Then someone said, "Is that lavender?" Another voice chimed in, "This is amazing." By the time the main course was served, people were clapping. And when dessert came out, her perfect layered cake with chocolate curls and whipped ganache, a neighbor stood and raised their glass. To Ava, he said, voice strong, "Who cooked a feast, got kicked down, and still made the best meal we've ever had." The entire room stood up and applauded her. Ava looked stunned, then slowly smiled, her whole face lighting up. Someone had brought a store-bought cake, just in case, but no one even touched it. Everyone asked for Ava's. She cut it herself, carefully, slice by slice, beaming as people told her how incredible it tasted. I finally exhaled, a knot in my chest loosening for the first time that day. At 2 a.m., long after the last guest had left, my phone buzzed. It was the journalist. She sent a link. The article was already live. The headline read, "The birthday that wasn't, how a teen chef cooked for 23, was abandoned, and hosted the year's best dinner." The article told the entire story. It talked about Ava's 3 days of cooking, the custom dishes, the attention to detail, and the moment the family group chat dropped the restaurant bomb. It didn't name names, but it made it very clear who bailed and who stepped up. It even mentioned the $1,300.00 charge on my card, and how Ava stood in her kitchen, not crying, just stunned. Comments started flooding in within minutes. "This girl is amazing. Where can I eat her food? Who ditches their granddaughter like that? Tell her to open a pop-up, I'll fly in." The next morning, just after breakfast, there was a knock on our door. I opened it to find my parents and sisters standing there in matching windbreakers, looking like some kind of discount PR squad. My dad was furious. "You need to fix this," he snapped. "You've ruined our reputation," my mom hissed. My sister folded her arms and added, "You need to say it was taken out of context." I laughed. Out of context? Did I imagine the text? The restaurant charge? Ava seeing your dinner photo while standing next to the food she made? My mom's voice rose. "She made us look like monsters." I stepped forward, calm but firm. "No, you did that. She just cooked." That should have been the end of it, but they kept going, louder and meaner, calling Ava ungrateful, saying she was manipulating the internet for attention. That's when Ava appeared behind me in the hallway, silent, face pale. My mom pointed at her. "You should be ashamed of yourself," she said. Ava flinched. That was it. My husband had just walked in from the backyard, saw her face, and said in the calmest but firmest voice I've ever heard, "Out. You don't yell at a 17-year-old who cooked for you, not in my house." They stood frozen for a second, then turned and walked out, slamming the door so hard a framed picture rattled. I held Ava close, her hands ice cold. Outside, our neighbor Jeff, sweet older guy with a passion for viral videos, had been filming from his porch. By evening, a new video was trending. Grandparents from viral teen chef story scream at her on porch. The internet went wild. The comments were brutal. They're like villains from a holiday movie. Who yells at a kid over cake? Team Ava forever. My parents sent angry texts accusing us of slander, of twisting the story, even throwing around legal threats. My mom called it elder abuse and demanded we retract everything. I blocked them, deleted their saved payment info, then posted a statement, "We stand by every word and we are done protecting people who hurt our daughter." A year later, Ava is thriving in every way that matters. She got into her dream culinary program, the one she used to call impossible. She's in her first year now, already catering small events, baking for birthdays, and running a food blog with hundreds of real followers who ask questions, try her recipes, and tell her she inspires them. She's not just being seen for her food anymore. People see her for who she is. Driven, creative, steady. She's not louder than before, just more sure of herself. It's like her spirit stopped asking for permission and just stepped into the light. A local chef offered her a part-time spot in his kitchen. A rep from her culinary school said they're watching her growth closely. A woman from Oregon messaged her and said, "Your story made me cook again after losing my mom." And all of that, every single bit, came from one night that was supposed to break her. We never heard from my parents or sister again. They moved 2 hours away shortly after the article went viral, saying they wanted a quieter life. Sure, what they meant was, nobody wants us around now. They haven't been invited to anything. They haven't apologized. I never got my $1,300.00 back, but we got something better. Peace. Clarity. No more pretending. No more shrinking ourselves to make others comfortable. Ava built her own future with her own hands, her own ideas, her own fire. That's something nobody can erase. And honestly, it was never about revenge. It was about respect. Ava's dinner that night showed her what she could do. It showed me what kind of mother I wanted to be. It reminded everyone who was there that real community shows up when it counts. That was Ava's first heartbreak, but also her first headline. A ruined birthday turned into a turning point. I stopped giving money to people who treat guilt like currency. I stopped defending people who can't even say sorry. I chose my daughter, and I would choose her again in a heartbeat. I protected her dream when no one else did, and in doing that, I think I protected something in myself, too. I can't undo what they did to her, but I can make sure it never happens again. Ava knows now that she's worth more than people's approval. She knows she doesn't have to beg anyone to believe in her. And I know, deep in my bones, that we did the right thing. So now I ask you, did I go too far? Or just far enough? If you felt something from this story, hit subscribe.